Well, good afternoon. Thank you all for coming down here today to join us for this. My name is Greg Weber, and I am the president of the Albuquerque Police Officers Association. As most of you know, several weeks ago we announced a survey, a first-of-its-kind survey, where we were going to ask our members, the officers, the police officers of this community, how they felt about all the things that are going on within their department, with the media, with protests, all of those things. We wanted to hear from our officers how they felt. And we also wanted to hear from them about how they felt about the APOA. Specifically, what can the leadership of the APOA do to serve them, and what can we do to help them more than we have them. And the officers have made it clear that as an organization, the APOA has not been doing its job. They don't feel that we have been representing them in the way that we should be. The officers feel that they have lost their voice, and that nobody's asking them what they think, and that the APOA is not standing up for them on these issues. One of the most surprising, or perhaps not surprising, responses that we received was that 99.3% of our members believe that morale at the department is low. Some of the comments we received was that morale is at an all-time low, and that is staggering. 99.3% of our membership believes that the morale in the department is low. And that's why we're here today, because we believe that the unity and the morale of police officers is something that is of public concern. It is something that matters to the taxpayers of Albuquerque and to anyone who's concerned about public safety. We hope that this will be a wake-up call to our leaders to acknowledge that their officers have real concerns about what's going on in their department. 80% of the officers don't believe that the APD leadership backs them up. They don't believe that the leadership stands for them when the criticisms are leveled against the officers and against the department. 80% of the officers disapprove of the job of the current police chief and the performance of his duties. They believe that the department has become too politicized and that it has had knee-jerk reactions to criticisms and to small concerns of a small number of citizens. They believe that there have been policy changes specifically that were knee-jerk reactions rather than what was best for the department. Additionally, our officers have told us they are really concerned about a lack of manpower. 98.4% of our members surveyed believe there are not enough officers on the department so that they can adequately do their job in patrolling the streets and responding to the public. This is an issue that we have been asking the leadership of the city and our own supervisors to address desperately. As you know, there are several hundred officers, 200 officers actually eligible for retire this year. And that already compounds a problem that exists. We are below 1,000 officers on this department when we were once staffed at 1,100. Officers don't feel like they can respond adequately to the calls for service that are out in the community or do the follow-up investigations that they once did because there just isn't enough manpower to do these things. We believe the citizens of the city of Albuquerque have a right to know what's going on and how their police officers see things, and that's why we're here today. We believe that the community and the officers who protect and serve this community deserve to have someone speak their voice, and that is what we're here for, is to be the voice of the officers. You have some handouts in front of you. I would urge you to look at them, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have.
How many responses did you have to the survey?
There were 456 total responses.
Can you talk about the methodology? Who conducted the poll? Would you consider it a scientific survey? Just talk about the methodology a little bit.
The APOA contracted with a company to conduct this survey. We felt that going to an outside company would be best, both for the integrity of the survey and also for the defendability and the methodology, as you say. So the survey was developed independently by a company, and it was administered independently by another company.
Are you able to say which company that was?
That was Ripe Incorporated.
When was the last time the morale was positive?
Well, this is the first time that somebody's ever conducted a survey like this, so it would be I couldn't go back 2 years and say, well, 2 years ago, we did a survey and the morale was this much. This is the first time that we've actually tracked and logged that number.
So would you anticipate future surveys in the upcoming years or upcoming months to see if your numbers are moving?
We would hope to see our numbers moving. And, this is why we're here. We believe the APOA, our job is to be the voice of our officers and our members, and we're trying to address our members' concerns, and that's what we're here for. So we would hope to see that number climb as we take these first steps towards addressing the issue.
Have you had an opportunity to sit down with either the chief or the mayor and go over your findings yet?
I have spoken with the police chief, yes. I have not spoken with the mayor.
And what's been his reaction?
The chief is concerned, clearly. I would defer any specific comments to him. I'm sure he has comments to make, but clearly he's concerned about the impact of the survey and about what the officers are saying.
The last page of the handout you gave us looks at some possible solutions, things that you guys would like to see the mayor do to improve APD. Can you talk about the responses on those questions?
Yes, so there were a number of options listed, and what we asked was for the officers, or our members in this case, to check all that apply, essentially. If you think something is a good idea, check it. And then we also had comments where obviously that's not presented to you, but we received written comments from our members. And what our members are asking is for us to go to the mayor and say, look, these are the issues, and this is what's going on. And I didn't bring my copy of the handout up here, so if you want to show me exactly what you're asking about.
Yeah, sure. It talks about these, I guess these were listed as boxes that the officers could check for possible fixes, possible solutions to what have been identified as the problems.
Yes, so what you'll see is 88.7% of our members believe that we need to hire more officers. 49.6% say to fire the police chief. 40.9 or 41% replace deputy chiefs. 18% believe that they want the Department of Justice to come in. And then 92.7% are really asking the mayor to look at honoring the contract that was signed. And I'm not going to dance around that issue. That was a point of contention for many of our members, was we had a contract in place and that contract was not honored.
Are you talking about the 2008, 2009 contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we don't, you say it because it's 4 years old now, but it's the most current thing that we have. We have been unable to reach any type of mediation or consensus with the city on anything.
The 18% who favored bringing in the Justice Department, were you surprised by such a large, what I would consider a large response to that potential question?
Somewhat, and we didn't, we should have probably made that something that the officers could have commented on, so it's hard for me to say exactly what the members were asking for. What I will say is that we don't have anything to hide. I think when people bring up the Department of Justice and say, oh, we want we have protest groups and so forth who say the Department of Justice should come in and investigate APD, we want people to know our members are not afraid of that. They don't feel like overall we're doing anything wrong or that they have anything to fear by that. So, but as far as that specific percentage, I'm not sure what their reasons were. We probably should have asked a little more specifically on that.
Were there, you had told us a month or so ago, there were 25 questions. Is that how many went out?
There were 25 or 26, I think the final number was 26 questions that went out.
Is there a way to get other than the handout you gave us, would you be willing to share the kind of raw data?
We've provided some of the raw data. We don't have any plans. Some of the questions that are on there are questions that I would consider internal to the operation of the APOA. And I don't know that the public is really that interested in some of our internal operations.
So the answer is no?
Not right now.
Have other cities across the country done a test like this, and how do you compare to
Have other cities conducted a survey like this?
Yeah.
Sir, I don't know the answer to that. I think this is a fairly unique thing that we're doing. I know, pollsters will take polls on government and politicians and specific figures. I don't know that any police union has ever gone to this extent to go out and try to figure out exactly what the officers have to say about things that are going on. But I couldn't say for sure.
So there was such an outcry you had to do it?
Yes.
How many people came forward, do you know, that were upset?
Well, I think we had 456 responses to the survey out of, we have about 900 members, 456 of them responded.
Would you be willing to tell us how much the APOA spent on that contract for this?
But the contract that we obtained was for more than just a survey. You know, there's several phases to it, so as far as the cost of the actual survey, I actually wouldn't have a number for you, I don't know.
Not even an estimation?
No, I don't know.
What are the plans for the data, other than the event you guys are having here today to kind of share some of the findings of the survey with the public and with members of the news media? What do you plan to do with the data?
Well, we're hoping that this is going to be a good starting point for us to now be able to address our members' concerns, work with city leaders, work with APD leaders, and try to move forward from here to address these issues. And that's what we're hoping to accomplish.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you all for coming down. Appreciate
Could
your
you just
time.
get your name and spell it for me one more time, please?
Greg Weber, and the last name is W.